Drugline Lancashire is a charity offering services for drug users, their families, friends and workers.
I think if we're looking now, we're at quite a changing period really of substance misuse. I think people will more commonly think of things like crack cocaine and heroin, and they'd be the most sort of problematic users. If we sort of go back to the 80s, that tends to be the one that sort of gets all the attention. If we're looking at now, we're moving into a different generation now, and a different generation of substance users. Our heroin and our crack users are getting older. A lot of them, we've got very high numbers of them actually in treatment, and at the moment it's just trying to keep them in treatment, move them through treatment into recovery and regeneration. But we've then got a new generation of people coming forward, and that new generation is slightly more complex and we're needing to respond quite differently. So at the moment it's called the ACE agenda. So that includes everything around alcohol, amphetamines, cocaine, cannabis, ecstasy and legal highs. And they're very different substances to what a lot of treatment services have been adapted to support. The difficulty is not knowing why for some people they will happily, have a drink at a weekend and no problems occur, why some people may recreationally get involved in use, while others will quite quickly get problems with the use, whatever those problems are, be that health issues or psychological, physical problems, or get involved with the criminal justice system. So it's quite a complicated picture. You can begin to look at certain things that might make people more vulnerable, but you've got to be careful that people don't necessarily follow that course. It can be because of how people are feeling themselves, people self-medicating because of things like depression. It might be because of where they live, who their parents' involvement in substances, their community's involvement in substances. It might be that there's been a trauma, they've suffered a bereavement, they're homeless, they're being exploited in other ways. So it might be that for all those people, increased vulnerabilities might happen, which might mean they're more likely to get involved in substances or more likely to incur problems from them. But I think we've got to be quite careful. Everybody is potentially vulnerable. I think we've got to be careful when we're looking at negative effects. For some people in the past, we've always given messages out, drugs are bad, don't do drugs, you'll end up like this, and given very, very negative pictures, you will die. And I think when we're giving those pictures out, for a lot of people involved in substances, they can't relate to that because that's not what they're doing and not what's happening to them. But I think when you're looking at the sorts of problems that can occur, I think we have to realise it can be absolutely down to that individual, and that's what you must see. You must see the individual and not the substance. For some people it's health issues, for some people it's family issues, for some people it's getting involved in the criminal justice system, for some people it's their mental well-being. An absolute whole range of different things may happen to different people because of the substances that they're involved with. I think for an individual, there's just sometimes just looking at a trigger which may actually cause somebody then to want to come into treatment or to be able to get help. And again, that could be from a range of things. That might be because somebody's got arrested, it might be that they've just got fed up with the use, it might be that the family and loved ones around them are pushing them forward really to get help. So there's lots of different reasons why people might then come forward for help. But I think one of our greatest difficulties are the barriers that might stop that. And the barriers, to be honest, a lot of it is within our society. We stigmatise drug users, we stigmatise their families, we stigmatise their communities. So it makes it even harder to be able to come forward. And I think that's, as I say, a big challenge we have, as well as making sure our services are accessible and meeting all the needs of the users as they walk through the door. It isn't just about meeting their substance misuse, it's looking at the family situation, their home, their employment, and to give them hope and aspiration for the future, and that they can move forward through this problem time and be able to be offering something back into the community later on.